But I live in Michigan.
You live in Michigan. Ah, so you're from
Yeah,
Venezuela. Beautiful
yes.
down in southern America, and you're now
Yeah.
up in Michigan. Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And
Thank you.
Susan, where are you from, Susan?
Hi, I'm from California.
Aha, lovely, lovely, beautiful place. And Wendy, I've had Wendy before. Welcome, Wendy. Lovely to have you in class. Can't remember where you're from, Wendy.
San Francisco Bay Area.
San Francisco Bay Area. Oh, beautiful. Wow. I've never been to America. My husband has, but I haven't been to America. And formerly Seoul, can I ask, that sounds such an interesting for my soul. That's such an interesting name to have as a
It
pseudonym.
is. I don't know how I got it.
Oh, okay. Well, if you'd like to change it to your correct name, James would be able to change it to your correct name for you. So you could type in for him at the bottom, or just tell him now, and he can change it for you to the
Oh,
name you
okay.
like.
My name is Elitha.
THA.
ELETHEA.
EA. Thank you, Melissa. Much appreciated for
Of
doing
course,
that.
you're good to go, Miss Sue. You guys are
Ah,
lovely. You're good to go. You guys enjoy
fantastic.
your class. If
I
anything,
will do
clarifying
indeed.
needs.
Thank you. Right. Bye. I hope you get it. Oh, it's not going to stick around with us. Right. Welcome, everyone. There are others that will be joining us, but I think what we'll do is we'll get going and seeing what we're doing for. There we are, Elisa. You
Yes,
are
thank
now
you.
formally your right name. Thank you, James. James is my
Thank you,
TA
James.
today. He's here from Get Set Up and he helps with anything that is needed by yourselves, or also to remind me if somebody's put up a hand or something like that. If I haven't spotted it, then he will be able to tell me and I'll be able to answer. But with a nice small class, it's great to be able to interact with each other. And if you've got an extra thing to say, please feel free to just say whatever you would like to say, because that's what we're here for. It's such fun to be able to share with each other. So let's have a look and see. I'm going to share my screen with you. There we go. That's looking good. Boredom Busters for seniors. I started originally with Boredom Busters for children. And then I thought, but what about ourselves? We also get bored at times. Why can't I find things that we would be interested in? So that's where this came from. So let's have a look and see. We learn from each other, so please interact. If you want a recording, please just request it at the end from help@getsetup.io and they will send you a copy. And if you're joining live streaming, you can't interact. You need to actually register for a class and then you can. And if I do mention any products, but I don't think I do in this particular class, it's purely what I use or what I do and not anything else. Right, a little about me. I live in Perth, Australia. I moved here 3 years ago with my husband. He's also a Get Set Up guide. Some of you, I'm sure, have been in his class. He is Michael Plumstead and he does quite a few of the tech ones and the microgreens. Um, and then we moved here. I was 65 when my son asked me to come and help look after my two older granddaughters. And at that stage, my other son said, no, no, 5 years till I have children. 9 months later, he had his first, and now he's got two. I haven't seen those yet because of the virus. But yes, so I live here now for 3 years. We love it. We have a beautiful little house. We've got a forest just next to us, parks in front of us. It really is magnificent. And the animals live around us. We have kangaroo living 500 meters from us, hopping around in the different people's gardens. So it really is different. I've been an educator for 44 years. Now I still do educate in the evening, but for Get Set Up, I share. And that is so different to educating. To share ideas is a different thing altogether. I enjoy creating and making any kind of puzzle. And I have a love of animals. That's why I do the animals of Africa and the animals of Australia. And I so enjoy being a guide. Now, there are so many simple things that we can do to while away the time when we are feeling a little bit bored. So today we're going to look at a few of them. Just going around the page, we've got indoor gardening. You don't have to garden outdoors, particularly in winter. You can have indoor gardens. I'm fortunate, I've got an indoor garden and an outdoor garden. My husband has green fingers, which makes a big difference. And we have a beautiful little area in our living room where we've got plants, and outdoors we've got a lovely little garden. But I'll talk more about gardening shortly. Now, a lot of us have magazines that we've collected over the years, and we're thinking it's time to start turfing those magazines. But there's a little bit in this one, and there's a little bit in that one that I might want to use. What you do is you take yourself flip files and you cut out the pages or the pictures that you like or want to keep, and you slide them into the flip files. Then when you're having coffee or your tea, you can sit with a different flip file for each subject that you like. So if you like gardening, you'll have pictures of all different beautiful gardens. If you like cooking, there'll be pictures of different types of meals. If you like travel, different places that you'd like to visit or have visited. Anything that is of interest to you, you put those into the flip files, and you can then discard the old magazines. But you've kept what is of interest to you in one place. And you can get 50-page flip files, so you can put a lot of information into one flip file and then look at the different things. You can listen, you can do exercises, you can play games, and you can do different hobbies. So let's begin. My first one is indoor gardening. Indoor gardening gives you so many benefits from it. Just the fact that there is a splash of color in your living room just brings your living room to life, and it lifts your spirit when you see that pretty little red flower or pink flower, or the leaves that are different colors on different plants. It just gives that room a new life. But not only that, it cleans your air. Remember, plants take in the carbon dioxide and give off the oxygen. So now you've got fresh oxygen coming into your room all the time. And some plants even take in contaminants. You can research which ones do, and then that can also make your room really special. If you've got herbs in your room, they have their own aroma as well. So plants are amazing. In the bottom right-hand corner, I took it outside for the photograph. That's one of my indoor gardens. I love gnomes. And so I've got gnomes all over the place. I've even got my little gnome here watching our lesson. And I have gnomes in my gardens, and I have gnomes in my little indoor pots, and they just look so cheerful and happy in each of the places. We've now named some of them as well. We're getting to name them because they'll have little characters of their own. Cooking. Cooking is a wonderful thing to do, and cooking with fresh ingredients is the best. So if you have small pots of your different herbs, they don't grow big because their roots are bound, and therefore they don't grow big. If you put them in a bigger pot, they grow huge. I've got a nearly 2-meter sized basil growing outside my window here in the back, because I put it into a big pot. But if I'd kept it in a small pot, it would have stayed small. And then you can just pick the leaves that you require for what you are doing. We put mint in our and lemon in our water. We put basil in our water. It gives it such a lovely flavor when you are drinking your fresh water, particularly in summertime. We have hot summers. We go up to 42, 43 degrees. And so it is wonderful to be able to put something into your water. So that's a lovely thing to do. And again, to cook with them as well. Flowering plants in your room also help, and to tend them and talk to them every day and make sure that they are doing well is a lovely way of spending your time and enjoying what you are seeing. Because when you're seeing something beautiful, it uplifts everything and makes you feel good. It's also economical to have plants indoors. It's not a big area to put things in, and you can arrange them in different ways, some up, some down, and you can make them into a really beautiful feature. You can even put them on a ladder and have them on different parts of the ladder against a wall. It looks so different and so interesting. And that then makes a talking feature, whether you are talking to your friends in your own home or if you're talking to them on Zoom, they can see behind you and they'll go, oh, what did you just put into your garden, your indoor garden today? And it becomes a topic to discuss. So those are all things that you can do with gardening. Any questions or any ideas? Not yet. Okay. Right. Listening. Listening to others is an amazing thing because so often we do not know what sort of life our friends have had before we met them, unless they have been friends with you from very young. But most of our friends that we meet in different places or and in the centers before COVID, you used to meet in the centers, you don't know what their life was like. And you might find somebody who is incredibly cheerful. And then when you hear their life story, you go, wow, how can they be so cheerful? They've had a really rough life, and yet they see everything with a positive light. That's an amazing asset. And then somebody else who's a little grumpy, when you hear what sort of life they've had, you go, okay, I can understand why they see things that way. And so by learning more about your friends, also doing your own life story, your grandchildren and your children would love to hear your life story. Your nieces and nephews would love to hear of the past. When my grandchildren come, they often say, when you were young, did you do this? Or they look horrified when I say, we didn't have an iPad when we were young. Oh, what did you do? So then you talk about the sort of things that you did when you were young. And it's lovely. You usually only remember the good things. It's amazing. The bad things seem to disappear into the background, and only the good things are the things that you will be talking about to your grandchildren. And it's lovely as because you can talk to your computer and your computer actually records it for you, it types it up for you, and you are then able to edit it and keep it and leave it as a legacy for your grandchildren and family. It's a lovely way of doing it. Any questions, any thoughts? Have any of you ever thought of doing that?
We did.
Oscar? Uh-huh. Dee,
I'm
yes.
sorry.
Yeah.
I was
no.
just going to say we did a family reunion where each family wrote their story and created a
Wow.
book for forever, for grandchildren, great grandchildren, whoever comes next. So that was a wonderful experience. You're right. It's a great experience.
That is awesome. Yeah, to be able to write your history. I realized that the other day. My son has a new partner, and we were out together, and she just asked a question about my son and why, and I started to tell her part of our history, and she said, "Oh, now that makes sense. Now I understand why he does this or why he says that." And as I spoke, it was cathartic to speak to her, and it made so much more sense for her for the future. And so it was quite amazing. That made me realize, wow, we've actually all got a story to tell. And be it good, bad, or indifferent, there are ups and downs in everyone's life. Some people more ups, some people more downs. But to tell it and to speak about it is an amazing thing. Dee, I think that is such a beautiful thing to do. And I really encourage more people to do it as well. I think Michael, my husband, must definitely do it because he's got a big family. He's got 9 children and quite a number of grandchildren, some on the way still. And I think it would be wonderful for them to hear the history of the family. Right. Another form of listening is, of course, your audiobooks. I do give you links in my email, so you don't have to worry. Audiobooks, there are hundreds of audiobooks on every possible topic, and most of them are free. So you can just go onto your phone, go onto one of these apps, and then choose a genre of book that you are interested in. And up will come a myriad of books, and you can then choose which one you would like to listen to. And just have your cup of coffee, close your eyes, and listen to that either music or books of any sort. Listening to stories, listening to some people like more factual, which is your factual fiction, whichever you prefer, and you can then listen. LibriVox and audiobooks are both free. You've got your podcasts, and those are shorter. So if you don't want to listen to a whole book, you can listen to podcasts. Those are usually anything from about 20 minutes to as much as 2 hours, but they are also on so many different topics. TED is one of the websites that has audios and video and audio together on every subject. It's usually somebody on stage explaining, talking about what they're doing or what they've done, but it can be on any topic. And that is really awesome to look at. I've learned so much from TED, watching TED videos. You can watch on radio. You can listen to your radio. You can listen to radio programs. You can listen to talk shows, different broadcasts, science programs, all sorts of things. When I was growing up, we didn't have TV in South Africa. And there was, on a Friday night, there was a series at 7 o'clock called Squad Cars. And I think the entire nation stopped to watch Squad Cars. Even if we were going out on a Friday night, your date never picked you up before Squad Cars was finished because they were listening to it as well. And if you talk to anybody, they'll immediately quote the little beginning of they prowl the empty streets at night. People remember these over and over again. So it really is something to listen to, and you can get back ones of those of things that you've listened to when you were younger. Anybody got any ideas? Spotify is also a podcast one that you can use for podcasts, also very good. Okay, anybody listen to podcasts or audiobooks?
I listen to Spotify podcasts. In fact, I just finished listening to a wonderful podcast, a conversation between Barack Obama, the former president, and Bruce Springsteen. So,
oh, wow, what a combination. Wow.
Yeah, they were talking about race. And anyway, it was just wonderful.
Oh, fantastic.
And it's
Yes,
free.
well,
Spotify is free. So
this is it. Most of them are free. So it's not costing you, and yet it's giving you something to be able to do. I really do encourage you to investigate and see if there's something that you would like to do. Right. Now, some hobbies. Now, I'm not going into all the different hobbies because I'm hoping to do a second Boredom Busters with other ideas. So I've kept things back. But these are just some fun ideas that you can do to while away the time, to pick up and put back or down as you go along. You can do word searches if you are into those. You can do Sudoku. You can do jigsaw puzzles online and the physical jigsaws. I love the physical jigsaws, but not pictures. I like busy ones where there are things happening in them. You can do coloring in, you can do mandalas, you can do really beautiful mandalas where if you don't think you are artistic, you've got your initial shape there, you color it, and there are some wonderful pens that when you've finished coloring, you add water to it and it becomes a watercolor. And that is really, really beautiful. You can also do origami. I cover some origami in my paper and tins lesson that I do. And now the one at the bottom here, bamboozles. How many of you do bamboozles? Who can tell me any of the things of the 6? Can any of you work out any of those 6 things in the bamboozle? How many lips are there? There are 2 lips, which becomes tulips. So putting the 2 words together, or whatever the words are, to make a phrase or a word. Can anybody see any other one? How many minutes are there? And where is the word back?
Back in 5 minutes.
Yes, you've got it. Back in 5 minutes. Quite right. And now the next one next to it, there's the word life, and there's the word 2 lots of the word live.
one life to live.
One life to live. Quite right. One life to live. The next one I found quite difficult. I don't know if I've got the right answer for this one. I have said for that particular one, I've said atrium, A, and then a trio, and then M, but I could be wrong. The next one, motion with go in the middle or of the word motion.
Go through the motion.
Go through the motion, yes, go through the motion, or in motion, any of the, so you're moving, but I like your go through the motion. I think that's a great one because go is pushing through the motion. And the last one, it's clear. The word coast is see-through. It's clear.
The coast is clear.
The coast is clear. Yes, the coast is clear. You can also do some riddles. You can do at a dinner at dinner, or if you've got some friends that, oh, good morning, my dogs have just come inside and they're coming to say good morning. I'm being licked to pieces. You can do riddles with your friends as well. You can actually get on Zoom with 2 or 3 friends. Each person can find some riddles, and then you can see who can answer as many riddles as possible, such as What is black when it's clean and white when it's dirty? Think of your school days.
Blackboard.
A blackboard, exactly. I am a king or a queen, but I'm also a common device to measure with.
King or queen.
What is a ruler? No.
A ruler it is, yes, a ruler. What has a ring but no finger?
Telephone.
A telephone, quite right. What's black and white and red all over?
Newspaper.
Oh, absolutely. Ah, nice. Let's find another nice one like that. I have a sound that goes beep, and though time I do keep, my main function is to heat. I have a sound that goes beep, though time I do keep, my main function is to heat.
It's a
Sounds
kettle.
like an oven.
An oven, a microwave oven goes beep when
Oh.
it is finished. The more I dry, the wetter I become. The more I dry, the wetter I become. A towel.
Ah,
Yeah, it's one where you really need to think about. It's so obvious when you know the answer, but when you don't, you're thinking, what on earth would that be? So you can do that with your friends, and you get lots of those on Pinterest. You can find lots of riddles like that you can use and have some fun with your friends on Zoom if you can't get together. You can also play all the classic games, all those games that we were looking at, you can do on your phone, your computer, or in a book. Your classic games, these you can also play online. You can play all of these virtually with others or by yourself online. And so they are all still available to us. Look, it's much better to be able to play with the family. I always play with my granddaughter. She loves cards. And so we often, when she comes to visit, we will play play cards. You've got blackjack, you've got solitaire, you've got go fish, you've got crazy eights, gin rummy, bridge if you're able to be with others. And so you are able to play all of these different things. And it's fun to just join in and play. They don't cost anything. You're not playing with real money if you're playing your blackjack, but it's fun to enjoy just interacting, even if it is with somebody who is virtual. How many of you play cards? Yeah, Susan does. Yeah, great, Susan. Lovely that you play cards. Excellent. And Renee, you also play cards. Excellent. Great. Yes, they keep you busy for a long time. If you're playing solitaire, you can play, your time disappears so quickly if you do that. Right, exercise. There are so many different forms of exercise, and exercise is so good for you. With the variety and with what is both on Get Set Up and on your phone, either on YouTube or any of the other programs that you can do, there is something different you could do every single day of the week. So you could have a variety of things, because when you do just one thing, it does get a little boring. So if you want to, you can spice it up by doing yoga one day, doing stretch one day, doing different things on different days. If you can get out and walk, wonderful. My husband and I walk every day in the forest with our two little dogs, and that is our daily exercise. And that is something we both really enjoy. And then usually if there's time, if I'm not teaching or working, we will in the early evening go for another walk on our own without the dogs, where we can walk at our own pace and walk in the direction we'd like, not following which one the dogs think is the most interesting place to go. So it also boosts your spirit, it boosts your immune system. And just by listening to nature outside, listening to the beautiful birds, seeing all the little creatures that you can find around, butterflies, birds, insects, it is amazing. You get to really enjoy your life. How many of you do some form of exercise? Susan does. Yeah,
I
great.
try. I'm not as regular as I'd like. I walk.
Oh, very nice.
I usually don't have anyone to walk with, so I usually listen to a podcast or an audiobook.
Absolutely, that's the way to do it. You listen to something as you're going and you are able to do it. Yeah, that does make sense. And I did see that Renee said she does exercise as well. Excellent. That is great. Now, let's continue. Virtual travel. We can't travel at the moment, not really. So we can do virtual travel and build up our bucket list and actually plan our future trips that we would like to take and work out where we want to go and which things we would put together. And 90% of the places that you would like to go to, you will find that there is, if you type in London Museum, underneath it gives you a series of information telling you where you can go and do a virtual travel of that. And then you can travel through it and think, oh, no, it's not as exciting as I thought it was going to be. Or, oh, I really want to go and see that. That goes on my bucket list. I'm pretty sure, at least I hope, have you all got a bucket list? One thing you would like to do before you die. It is really important to think what you would like to do for the rest of it. You've all got 30 or 40 years still to go. So there's lots of time for you to be able to, we're all going to live to over 100. So we may as well plan for some interesting things that we would like to do. And see, we would like to, I want to go in a hot air balloon. I still want to, and I'm determined I will get there. I will get to being able to have a time to go up in a hot air balloon. I thought I might do it when I was 40. Then I thought I might do it when I was 50. And then for my 60th birthday, I thought, yeah, sure, one of the children, they know this is what I want. It didn't happen. So maybe when I turn 70, I will do my trip in a hot air balloon. I would also love to take a boat trip down the Rhine. For me, that is beautiful, particularly at Christmas time, because they have Christmas markets in every one of the little towns. And my birthday's on Christmas, so it's quite a special time. So I would love to take a trip down the Rhine and stop at all the little, wherever the boat stops or the ship stops, you go into their little Christmas markets and see all these really beautiful little things. I've come back with a suitcase full of all sorts of things. But that for me would be a wonderful experience. To see snow in winter would also be a great experience. Snow at Christmas. We never have snow at Christmas. I think I've seen snow 3 times in my life. So to have an experience in the snow would also be great. So really, I suggest you think about things that you would like to do and then go and virtual travel them. See what it's like. Have a go at traveling in a balloon. Have a go at going on a ship down a particular area. What will you see? What will you do on that ship? And so on. You can also go to all the different museums. I probably wouldn't have been as disappointed as I was when I was 16. I traveled through Europe, and the one thing I wanted to see was the Mona Lisa. I had been told that of the Mona Lisa, we'd discussed it at school and so on. So I wanted to go and see this beautiful big painting that of the Mona Lisa. When I got there and discovered it's a little painting, I was
It's a
actually,
little one.
it's tiny.
I know.
I was actually looking for it. All these people were standing, oohing and ahhing, and I'm still looking for this big painting, and I can't. Then I see this tiny little thing. Go, Mona Lisa's so small. So had I done a virtual travel, if we'd had the opportunity, if we'd had computers, I would have not been quite so disappointed as I was. You can also put on 3D glasses and do driving and all sorts of things. You can travel to different places in America, out of America, in different countries. Where would you like to go? What would you like to see? If you love orchestras, you can actually go and virtually travel to where an orchestra is playing and listen to that orchestra as if you were sitting in the hall listening to them. Opera is another one. You can go onto different opera sites and hear the operas and see the singers singing them. So it's as if you are there, because at the moment we can't. If you love animals, you could go on safaris. You can also go to and now there are 24-hour cameras at different waterholes in a number of the parks in South Africa. And so what you can do is just put them across the top of your computer and click in at different times and see what animal is drinking at that moment. So the cameras are running all the time. It's live feed. So you'll see exactly what's happening at that time. And you'll see some amazing animals come down to drink. And if there's no animal at the one hole, swap to the next hole. Oh, look, there's a whole lot of animals at this hole. And you'll be able to see them drinking at their drinking holes. So these are all different things that you could do in your virtual travel. Any thoughts? Any ideas? Anybody want?
This is Dee. I think Get Set Up has some really good travel programs.
Oh, yes, they do. They have.
I've really enjoyed those.
They really do enjoy having them. And the people are so knowledgeable that are traveling in those. They're talking from the heart. They're talking from where they've been. And that makes such a difference to be able to do that and find all the different things. Right. Now, our last one that we're going to be covering is exploring mindfulness. When I first heard about mindfulness, to me, I understood mindfulness as meditation, and that was it, until I actually started exploring and discovered that mindfulness is actually using any of your 5 senses. So if you are using your senses and your mind to be able to do what you're doing, then you are using mindfulness. If you are walking, you are connecting with nature. You're seeing it, you're hearing the birds, you are in this wonderful environment with, and you are touching nature as you walk past and as you walk along the ground, you are in contact with nature. So you're using 3 of your senses when you are out anywhere where there's nature around you. Smelling the flowers. You're not only smelling the aroma of the flowers, you're seeing the beauty of those flowers, and you are touching the petals of them. So again, you're using 3 of your senses in a simple act like smelling the flowers. Listening to music, you're just using your ears, but in your mind, in your inside eyes, you are seeing that music. You're seeing the musician you're listening to. You're seeing the story they're telling, if it's a country and western song. You are seeing the opera singer standing on that stage in your mind. So you're in fact using what I call your inner eye, not necessarily your outer eye. You can do exercise. Your exercise is movement. You're seeing what others are doing. You're listening if there's music or if there's somebody telling you what you're doing. You're using your senses again. And one of the things that I enjoy doing, and it's a funny thing to do, is dragon breathing. And that is a simple thing. If you sit up straight, all you have to do is sit up straight. Breathe in as deeply as you can. Stick your tongue out because it makes a conduit for the air to go through. And breathe out right to the bottom of your lungs. And I'd like you to do that now and just feel how the air courses through your body. So we sit up straight, we breathe in. Tongue out. Breathe out. All the way through. And it takes all that air out of you. And you breathe in just 2 or 3 times and your body feels invigorated. When I'm feeling tired and I'm still working, what I do is I just do that 2 or 3 times. Suddenly I've got new life because oxygen's gone to my brain and now I'm wide awake again and ready to go. Another thing to do is when you are feeling stressed or somebody's irritated you or something's just not quite the way you are wanting it to be, something sitting on top of you. A very simple way of working with that is to say to either inside your head or out loud, 5 times you say, I like myself. Not I love myself, I like myself. I like myself. I like myself. And by the time you've said that, no matter what, you are smiling. And that thing that was sitting on top of you is still there, but it's not as important any longer. You have some perspective and you are able to see it from a slightly different angle. And it works every time. I was only taught that a few years ago. I wish I'd had that when I was younger. And I certainly pass it on to my family and children because I think it is such an important one. And it just makes you feel so much better within yourself and you can cope with anything. Because we all have times where we feel we're not coping. And that definitely gives you that little bit of extra perspective. The last one I want to cover is what I try and do every day. I go to a different part of either the house or the garden or even in the forest, and I look for the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 things. I look for 5 things that I can see, 5 things that I've probably not looked at for a while, things that I've forgotten. And I pick on 5 things wherever I am. Then I go and touch 4 different things and I see if I can find different textures of those 4 things in that area. And you'll be amazed how many textures there are. Even on your own body, you can find 4 textures. And then listen to 3 things that you can hear. Now, when you do brain gym, there is an exercise that allows you to hear better. And it's such a simple thing. All you do is you take your 2 fingers and you put them at the top of your ear, one on either side of your ear, and you rub all the way down your ear, right to the bottom, and then all the way back up again. and you'll be amazed. Suddenly you can hear so much clearer. I can hear the dog snoring very much clearer now. But that, because you have stimulated all the little nerve endings of your ear, you are now able to hear so much clearer. So if somebody's talking and you just can't hear them, just quickly do that to your ears, and suddenly you can hear the person talking. It is amazing how it works. So you find 3 things that you can hear by just closing your eyes and listening in whichever room you are in or wherever you are outside. See if you can find 2 things that you can smell. You might smell a plant nearby. You might smell your coffee that's brewing. You might smell a different flavored tea that you've made. There are all sorts of things to smell. And lastly, find 1 thing to taste. You may have to go and find something for that, because where you are, there might not be anything that you can taste. But go and find something that you can taste and choose all the different ones: sweet, sour, salty, bitter, so that you get the sensation of something to taste. And I try and do that every day. And it's amazing how many different things I've forgotten. Or when I'm just standing there, my eyes gloss over something. I don't actually see it. But if you're standing still and you look, oh, there's a little ladybug over there. Wow, I didn't know that flower had such a tiny flower on it. I just saw green, but when I look carefully, there's a little flower there, and so on. So this is a lovely exercise to do every day, anywhere, at any time. Do it on the subway, do it wherever you are. You will find there are different things to do. Any thoughts? Anybody going to try any of these? I see some hands up. Yeah.
This is Dee. I tried TED right before I came here, and it is really a wonderful resource of talks.
Mm-hmm.
They're like 15, 20 minutes long sometimes, so it
Yeah.
doesn't really take all that time.
No, you can have your cup of coffee and listen to it, and it's done. And that's awesome. I also so enjoy using TED. To me, it is a great way of doing things. Right. Well, if you've got any feedback, it would be great. And thank you so much for being with us. If you want a copy of the session, you can get it at help@getsetup.io. I will send you an email afterwards with some links in it. If you are a crafty person, I have now got adult creative waste with toilet rolls, pegs, and popsicle sticks, and paper and tin cans. So those are all ideas of things to do. I'm going to stop sharing now. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you very much.
I hope you will learn
Thank
something.
you.
Thank you, Oscar. It's
Thank
a
you.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Thank
I had a
you.
good time. Bye-bye.
Oh, good.
Bye.
Bye. Enjoy your evening, everyone. Have a great time. Look forward
Yeah.
to seeing you all again at some stage. Thank you, James, for being part of
Mm.
the class too. Thanks